You sure you're free? What else would I be doing?
What's up, guys? How's it going? This is Jeff, aka 11 Bronson, doing my gaming collection video today. I mean, obviously, you guys know I'm a movie guy. Well, look no further than my fucking wall behind me. But I'm also a big gamer. I've been doing some gaming streams recently. I'm currently working on the Uncharted video game series. I'm going to live stream every one of the Uncharted games on PS4, which I'm playing on my PS5. I'm a big gamer. Here's my PS5 controller right here. Love gaming, love movies a little bit more, but I do love gaming. And I figured I'm going to show you my gaming collection on physical media now. Pretty much exclusively a PlayStation gamer. I have every console, and they're actually right over there by the TV. My PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and of course the PS5. I have every PlayStation console. Play retro games. Here's my little stack of PS1 games, which is going to be the first stack I'm going to show you guys. Retro gamer, I love modern gaming, pretty much love every, so just like with movies. I mean, with movies, of course, modern films hit or miss. Modern games, 99% out of the time, 99% out of 100. I mean, it has to be sort of in the genre that I like. I'm not sort of an RPG kind of guy. I'm not into like the sports games like FIFA or the football slash for the American soccer games. Pretty much action adventure or open world. Um, you know, Horror. I like horror games as well, Resident Evil, stuff like that. Anyway, just to make the point across that I'm a bit of a gamer too, even though, like I said, I love movies just a little, a tad bit more. But games can be great in their own right. I mean, and a lot of the games that I do play, like Uncharted, The Last of Us, Naughty Dog games and stuff, they're pretty much interactive movies. I love it when a game has a great story that grips you. It's just like with the movie, the story comes first. That's why I'm not sort of into these RPG sort of things, because you sort of have to fill in your own story, this and that. Anyway, without any further, let's take a look at my PS1 games. Now, it's a very small stack. Actually, some recent games. Here are two James Bond games for the PS1. As you guys know, I have pretty much all the Bond games for the PS2 and PS3. Now I have the PS1 games as well. This is Tomorrow Never Dies and The World's Not Enough, obviously based on them two 007 films. This is two games in one bundle right here. And this is probably one of the worst Bond games, but the concept is good. 007 Racing. If it actually lived up to the title and you actually had races in it, it would have been better, but they sort of turned into something else. What is the back of this? Yeah, it's in Dutch, you can't read it, but yeah, 007 Racing. I mean, it would be interesting if they did like sort of a kart racer or whatever, like a Crash Team Racing or Mario Kart, but then with the James Bond vehicles and with the Bond gadgets and stuff. That would have been a pretty cool game, but unfortunately, this is not that. This is something else entirely. But anyway, I'm a completionist, and I do now what's wrong with me? I do now have every console Bond game since the PS1 era. I mean, I still don't have GoldenEye, but I have played GoldenEye by now, so that's... Anyway, this is a big nostalgic game for me. One of the first games I played as a kid, and I actually was a big fan of Action Man back in the day. Actually, when I was a kid, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, I actually had a lot of Action Man figures. A lot of the action figures from Action Man. I know it's sort of a UK thing. I think kids in the UK grew up on Action Man, but we had it over here as well. Obviously, the American version is G.I. Joe. But yeah, Action Man game, Mission Extreme on PS1. A lot of fun memories playing this, and I actually play it again about a year ago, I guess, a year and a half ago, when I picked this up with my PS1 console, my retro PS1 console. It's not my original one. I had to pick up a refurbished one. But yeah, Action Man. Of course, another port of Doom. No surprise to anyone that knows Doom. It's a very popular game. It's been ported to pretty much every console, everything you can imagine. There's people who even put this on their microwave, on their calculator. You can play Doom on so many different ways. But this is the PS1 port, which is actually, oh, this is in English. It's actually different, this PS1 port, because it sort of removes the iconic Doom music and it makes it, has more ambient music. It sort of makes it a little bit more like a horror game, even though it's not supposed to, because obviously the demons are supposed to be scared of you. You're not supposed to be scared of the demons. But anyway, next up is another iconic PlayStation game, Driver, which is pretty much based on the Driver, the Walter Hill 1978 film. It takes a lot of inspiration from that. But a good game. If you can get past the tutorial level, the opening level, which is still, I think, known as, infamously known as one of the hardest levels in the game. Actually, I have to say, I've always heard about it. I never played this back in the day, unfortunately, but I played it recently. I always heard about how bad it was. Actually, it might be, because I sort of built driving skills in games, in different other games over the years. I actually did not find the sort of the task that they make you do in the parking garage in the beginning. I didn't find them too difficult. I only took like 2 or 3 attempts at doing it, and I was expecting I was going to be stuck on it, but I don't know. Unfortunately, I still haven't played this one yet, Driver 2, Race Back on the Streets. Still, unfortunately, haven't played this. It is on 2 discs, because apparently this game was too big for the PS1, so yeah, but still haven't played the sequel, unfortunately. I've beaten the original, but still have to dive into this one. It's definitely going to happen someday soon. I mean, I've heard from a lot of people that this is a huge improvement over the original. Next up, another one of my favorite franchises, Duke Nukem Land of the Babes, right there. Actually, this is a sequel to Duke Nukem Time to Kill. This came first, and then Land of the Babes. Now, I played Land of the Babes so much as a kid. I know, this game is rated 15, but I played it as a kid, like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. And this one I never really played that much back in the day, but I do like this game a lot. But I don't know, a lot of people hate this game. They call it one of the worst Duke Nukem games, but I love it. Of course, none of these have a patch on Duke Nukem 3D, which is still the best. Don't even get me started on Duke Nukem Forever, but we're going to get there, because I do have that in my PS3 collection. And last up, I have 3 Tomb Raider games. I still have to pick up Tomb Raider 4, The Last Revelation, and Tomb Raider Chronicles to complete the Tomb Raider collection. But this is the first one, the original one, Tomb Raider from 1990. What was it? 98? Yeah, it is 98. It says there on the back. Yeah, this is the one with the pointy triangle, boobies. Which they did fix for the sequel. She also got some implants for the sequel, apparently, if you can believe this cover here. Tomb Raider 2, starring Lara Croft. Get the glare a little bit out there, but yeah. Not the easiest of games, I must say. Tomb Raider took some getting used to when I played it. I did play this a little bit as a kid, but never finished it. I did actually finish this recently. I'm still yet to finish Tomb Raider 2, which is kicking my ass, really, this game. But actually, this game, hard difficulty, but still, it wasn't like the game was fairly hard or something. I do feel like every sort of time I died, the blame was on me, except for maybe 1 or 2 cheap deaths. But this one, like I said, is kicking my ass. This is definitely upping the difficulty. And I've heard that it's even worse in Tomb Raider 3, which I'm dreading going into, but yeah, I got that right there, Tomb Raider 3. Again, Lara Croft seems to be getting implants with every game. They do seem to be growing in size. But yeah, Tomb Raider 3. And that's my little stack of PS1 games. Let's move over to PS2. Alright, here we go with the PS2 titles. First up is 50 Cent Bulletproof, which I played it for like the first 30 minutes. And I just didn't get into it at all. I didn't really gelled with the mechanics, with the gameplay. It looked like a cool game, but it was a miss buy. Luckily, it was only €2 or €3, quid, bucks, whatever you want to call it. Next up, the Fight Night series. Now, I said earlier I'm not a fan of sports games like FIFA. I do like boxing games, especially these older Fight Night games. This is one of the first ones. It's not the first one, but it's I think the first one for the PS2, Fight Night 2004. And we have my favorite, the one that I played over and over as a kid, Fight Night Round 2. And then Fight Night Round 3, and then Round 4, and the one after that, which wasn't Round 5, but they made 2 more after that. They will be released for PS3. Then we have the Steelbook collector sort of set, limited edition set of the Godfather game on PS2. I also have this for PS3. Yeah, there you go. That's the Godfather. Comes with a little bonus disc, which is cool because there's some interviews with James Caan and Robert Duvall, who actually did the voice for the game. There's some interviews with them on there, plus some other cool behind the scenes stuff. Then we have 2 GTA games. I don't have Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City or San Andreas, because I do have them on the modern consoles like PS4 and PS5. But here is Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, which was originally a PSP game, and this was ported over to PS2, if I can think. And Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, which I love Vice City Stories. I wish this would make a comeback, because yeah, Vice City is it's probably my favorite GTA city, I would say. You know, it's based on Miami. It's based, you know, a lot of the aesthetics is based on Scarface. Obviously, you know, I'm a big fan of Scarface, so I do like Vice City and Vice City Stories a lot. Next up, the Jack and Daxter games, classic childhood games of mine, like so much nostalgia I have, you know, attached to these games. I remember it was Christmas, like 2002 or something. Yeah, it must have been. We got the PS2, and with it came Jack and Daxter, you know, and Ratchet and Clank, which we're going to get to shortly. So yeah, been in love with the Jack series since the beginning. It's Naughty Dog, who also did Uncharted and Last of Us, and Crash Bandicoot before on the PS1. Jack 3. Excuse the outside noise, but it's a pretty hot one today, and I do have the window open, so you might hear some outside noises. And then the racing spin-off, Jack X. Now this is a pretty cool racing game. Yeah, that's the Jack series. Let's go on to more 007. This is the first Bond game for PS2, Agent Under Fire. It was meant to be another port of the World's Not Enough game, but it turned into its own thing, which is great because it turned into original Bond story. And they did the same with Nightfire, my favorite Bond game. I don't care what anybody says, this is the best Bond game for me. In my opinion, there's no topping this one. This has never been topped before or since. In my humble opinion, I do like GoldenEye, don't get me wrong, I love GoldenEye. Now that I've actually played it, and I've done a lot of multiplayer with my buddy Ramon. Pierce Brosnan's final Bond outing and Everything or Nothing, he actually did the voice and he gave his likeness for this game. So this is what a lot of people consider Pierce Brosnan's 5th Bond film. It's his swan song. Way better than Die Another Day, if you ask me. Sean would return for this one. From Russia with Love, the classic story put into a video game adaptation. Of course, it takes some liberties. But you know what? I adore this game. This is probably my second favorite Bond game, if I'm being totally honest. I mean, it's Sean. It's Sean. It's his ultimate final performance. And then, oh yeah, let's cash in on GoldenEye and call this game GoldenEye Rogue Agent, even though that's nothing to do with GoldenEye. Yeah, not a good game. A guilty pleasure. Sometimes I do enjoy playing it, and the multiplayer actually is really great on that game. The split screen multiplayer. Next up, Max Payne. Of course, this game turned into a film with Mark Wahlberg, which wasn't that good, but the game is excellent. Every single one of the Max Payne games is excellent. I love this one on the PS1, PS2, and I love the sequel also, which might as well get to it. Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. Great games. And then they did the third one on PS3. And the games were developed by Remedy, but Rockstar, known for GTA and Red Dead Redemption series, they published it and they actually developed the third one. So this isn't technically Rockstar, even though it has the Rockstar logo on it. They did the publishing for the game. But the third one is a Rockstar game on PS3. Next up, like I was saying earlier, it was Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank. They were really my first two games on PS2. Yeah, two great action platform games. I mean, yeah, Jak and Daxter is more platformer, but Ratchet and Clank always had action in it. With Jak and Daxter, they would turn action. Jak and Daxter, they would turn into more action as they went along, but Ratchet and Clank, man, a series that is still going. You know, its most recent installment came out 2 years ago. So, you know, Ratchet and Clank 2, which is just the European title, known in America and I think also in the UK. This is Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando. And this one has one of the best titles, not the European title again, but the US English language title is Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal for this one. Especially for the Brits, that's going to sound funny. Up your arsenal, you know? But yeah, great game. And then it did the spin-off, which is known as Ratchet Deadlocked, but we have it in Europe as Ratchet Gladiator. Yeah, great spin-off, just like they did with Jak and Daxter. They did the racing spin-off. Next up, gotta have some Rocky. You know, I love Rocky. My favorite movie franchise, right next to the James Bond franchise. Rocky Legends, so PS2. You can play as Rocky, Drago, Clubber, Apollo. Even Tommy Gunn is in the game. Love it. Great game. Did somebody say Scarface? Yeah, we have Scarface The World Is Yours on PS2. This game needs a remaster re-release on PS4 or PS5. They need to port this somehow over to the modern consoles. They need to update it a little bit. I mean, the graphics for 2006, they're still pretty decent. If they just touch it up a little bit, it would still be a great game to play. If they could do a full remake, that would be even better. But if they just clean it up a little bit, you know, upscale it, 1080p, whatever, 60 frames per second, whatever, that would be great. If anybody's watching from the gaming industry, if anybody from Sierra is watching, or from Radical Entertainment, this is an outcry from a die-hard Scarface fan saying, release this on modern consoles. We would thank you forever. And I would, even if you charge $200 for it, I would buy it. I'm going to tell you that right now. Next up, The Simpsons game. I also have this on PS3. I actually really like The Simpsons a lot. And it's not like, this is not a tie-in for The Simpsons movie. It's its own story and stuff. It's actually pretty decent, pretty good and fun to play. I would recommend the PS3 version more than this one, because this one is sort of a shrunken down version. The PS3 is like a sort of semi-open world and stuff. This one confines that, but I do like The Simpsons. Next up, some Spider-Man games. Yeah, I'm not a big Marvel fan, but I do like Spider-Man as a character, and I love the original Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire films, and the games that were based on those. I played them as a kid. This is the first one, Spider-Man. As you can see, it's Spider-Man against the Green Goblin. So that's from the original, and here's probably everybody's favorite, besides the 2016 game, but Spider-Man 2 from 2004, right? Yeah. Back when Activision were still making great games. There it is right there. Spider-Man 2, truly one of the best games based on the character. I really love the Spider-Man game. I do like replaying it when I get the chance. Um, there's right there. Actually, I remember the first time I played this, it probably was on the Xbox I borrowed from a friend of mine. Now, at the time, I think I didn't have a working PlayStation console, so I borrowed an Xbox from a friend. This is like years and years and years ago. One of the games he had for the Xbox was this game, so that's the first time I remember playing this. More Tomb Raider now. Tomb Raider Anniversary, PS2. Now this is sort of the remake of the original Tomb Raider with, at the time, more modern graphics and gameplay. Yeah, there you go. Tomb Raider Anniversary. This, probably my first Tomb Raider game was this one, actually, believe it or not, Tomb Raider Legend. I could be misremembered because I do also remember playing the original Tomb Raider on PS1 back in the day. I think that had to be before this. But this one that I distinctively remember, really, one of the first time I experienced, you know, Lara Croft, you know, the character. And I had a huge crush on Lara Croft as a kid. Obviously, it's a digital character. But, you know, you can definitely see the appeal. I mean, she was sexy as hell in this game for digitized character, but you know. And then one of my favorite games of all time, True Crime Streets of LA. I remember playing this a hell of a lot back in the day when I was way too young to play it, to be honest. This is a game that's rated mature in, I think in the US it's rated M. It's rated 16 and over in the Netherlands. I was probably 5 or 6 when I played this. This came out 2003. Yeah, so I had to be at least 6. Yeah, because I was born 97. Yeah. True Crime Streets of LA. Unfortunately, got a lackluster sequel. Still decent, True Crime New York City. But it definitely wasn't on the level as True Crime Streets of LA for me. I think there are some people that prefer this to LA, but for me, I'm gonna go with, you know, True Crime Streets of LA. Very cool action game, you know, sort of GTA style open world game. But then you play a cop instead of a criminal. And those are my PS2 titles. We're going to transition into PS3, or we might even separate this in parts. So if you are watching this in parts, get on to part 3 where we're going to show PS3 titles.